YouTube Kids is a double-edged sword. On one hand, your kids can watch family-friendly content like cartoon clips, but on the other hand, they could see content that is not appropriate for them at all. I was babysitting my neighbor's kid. I don't want to reveal his actual name, so we could just call him Kevin. Kevin was really into YouTube Kids. He mostly watched a lot of content focused on Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft, Pokemon, and this one internet show called The Amazing Digital Circus. I usually didn't mind him being on the app though until one Sunday evening. I decided to check his watch history out of curiosity to see if what he was watching was age appropriate. I found one video in particular called The Amazing Digital Circus vs. Skibidi Toilet and Grimace Shake Funny Videos for Kids by a channel called PomniToonez. The videos start off with your usual run-of-the-mill YouTube Kids cartoon, poorly made 2D animations depicting characters from the Amazing Digital Circus getting into strange, unusual situations that would never happen in the actual series. These scenarios usually involve other characters often used in content farm videos like Ban Ban and Huggy Wuggy. These animations were around 7 to 10 minutes long and were all compiled together into 1 hour long video. To most, this video warranted any further investigation, but it was the thumbnail that made me curious. It was Pomni standing in a black void with a spotlight on her. Her colors looked desaturated and she was staring towards the ground, her face shrouded in shadow. This made me think it was potentially some sort of Elsa Gate video, and I started panicking that maybe Kevin had seen something he shouldn't have. That was the reason I decided to watch it, to make sure it wasn't anything inappropriate. And for the majority of the video, it was perfectly kid-friendly. No violence, no swearing, no weird fetish content, just regular YouTube Kids animation. That is until towards the end of the video. It opened with a shot of the outside of the circus before zooming in and cutting to show the interior. All the characters were standing around a group, with Kane floating in front of them. Welcome! I gathered you all here today to announce my newest adventure. Today, you will all be fighting my army of skibidi toilets. Whoever kills the most will win a lifetime supply of Grimace Shakes, Kane said. His voice was an AI text-to-speech made to sound like him, and for the first couple of videos I watched, I generally thought they have gotten the original voice actors to reprise their roles as the characters. Once Kane had explained his adventure, all the characters began mindlessly cheering and babbling about how much they wanted to try the Grimace Shake, all except for Pomni, who was staring blankly off into the distance. At first, I thought this was some sort of animation error. It wouldn't surprise me considering how low effort the animation looked. But then it cuts to show Pomni's point of view, revealing she was seeing something the rest of the cast wasn't. A large red door labeled Exit in bold white letters. At first, Pomni hesitated, but after a brief moment, she began walking away from the rest of the characters and toward the door. The obnoxious, cheerful background music quickly faded the further Pomni moved away. Pomni walks through the exit door, ending up in an abandoned office building setting that looked like it was made in Blender. She walked through the long, endless corridors. The music and bright colors are now completely gone, the only sound being the ambient buzz of the lights overhead and the faint ticking of a clock. Another noticeable change was the improvement in the quality of animation, with Pomni no longer just having flat colors. Light now realistically reflected off of her, and she walked much more naturally than before, almost as though it had been rotoscoped. At this point, I was taken completely off guard by this jump in quality. I got so used to staring at the choppy, stilted animation that the sight of actual effort being put into came as a shock to me. I was now fully invested into what I was watching, and I knew the video I stumbled upon wasn't like most of its kind. This went a lot deeper than just animated brain rot made for a quick profit. As Pomni traversed the seemingly endless maze of rooms, I began to notice a pattern. In every room she passed through, there was a framed photo on the wall of a man and his wife. As Pomni moves further and further into the building, the photo seems to show a passing of time, with each photo being more and more recent. After Pommy has gone through about 14 different rooms, his wife was wheelchair bound. After 26 different rooms, she was bed bound, and after 33 rooms, she was no longer in the photos at all. It was just the man now, with a much more gloom expression than before. At this point, Pommy began breathing heavily as she started to run through the office building, attempting to find a way out, and eventually she did. As she opened the final door frantically, she was met with someone's real apartment, not a 3D space made in Blender, but an actual live-action apartment. To the right, sitting on the couch, was the man from the photos. In front of him was a coffee table with 3 things on it: an empty beer bottle, an ashtray full of used cigarettes, and a worn-out drawing tablet. The man turned to look at Pommy, but he seemed unfazed by her presence. "Oh, it's you. Not often I get visitors these days," he said before sliding back down into his original position. "Who are you?" Pommy asked, leaving the doorway and stepping into the apartment. "My name's Nassim. I'm the one behind all this. As much as I hate to admit," he said, seeming almost embarrassed with himself. "But that's impossible! Kane runs the amazing digital circus," she said, raising an eyebrow in confusion. "Which one? It's Kane again. Is he the rabbit or the set of teeth? I'm not too good at remembering the names of you guys. I don't really need to be. As long as I keep doing what I do, they'll still carry on watching," he said, with a hint of hopelessness in his voice. "Who's they?" Pommy asked, slowly walking closer to Nassim. "Children. Kids don't care about clever writing or an actual plot as long as their favorite characters are involved. And that's where I come in. I just animate overstimulated garbage and upload it to YouTube. And that's been my only source of income for nearly a year. It's the only job I could hold down ever since I lost her." His voice began to get shaky as he covered his face with his hands. "You mean the woman in the pictures?" Pommy asked remorsefully, now standing right beside him. He nodded his head while still cupping his face with his hands. "Ever since she died, I've been on a downward spiral. I've applied for 6 jobs in the past 2 months, and I've been fired from all of them before I could even get past my first paycheck. Drawing and animation has been my only source of joy, so I've assumed making a career from that would help me both mentally and financially. But all it's done is make my life even more miserable. I don't enjoy making all of this. I just do it out of necessity. If I didn't, I'll be thrown out of the streets. It's the only way I keep the lights on," he said, sighing after finishing his sentence. "So that's what I am? That's what all my friends are?" Pommy asked, a look of disbelief forming on her right face. "Unfortunately, yes. I'm sorry you have to be the one to hear this, kiddo, but life is cruel. There's no denying it. At least your world is frightful and colorful. Mine's a desaturated nightmare full of loss and despair," he said, not daring to make eye contact with Pommy after what he has said. The two just sat in the apartment in awkward silence for a while. After that, the silence only broken when Pommy began quietly sobbing, covering her face with her hands and leaning on the arm of the couch for support. The scene stayed like this for about 15 seconds before Kane poofed into the room in a cloud of cartoon smoke. "Oh, there you are, Pommy," he said before yanking Pommy by the arm and disappearing by her. The scene then stays with Nassim sitting motionlessly on the couch before he too began to cry. The scene abruptly cut back to the digital circus with Kane reappearing with Pommy. Everyone else was huddled around a circle, sipping grimace shakes and reminiscing about the day they had. Pommy just stand there, not saying anything. Black mascara running down her face from her crying, her whole body shaking slightly. Kane floated down to Pommy with an obnoxiously happy expression. "Wow, Pommy, you should have seen the crazy adventure we had. We did try looking for you, but you're just too damn good at hiding. Anyways, Ragatha won the supply of grimace shakes and decided to share with everyone. You want one?" Kane said, pulling the purple milkshake out from behind his back and offering it to Pommy. Pommy didn't respond and remained motionless before letting out a chuckle. This chuckle slowly grew louder and louder to the point where she was laughing maniacally. I couldn't even tell if it was the AI voice or if they actually gotten a real woman to laugh like that. The laughing became more intense and black glitchy patches with eyes began forming on Pommy's body as she began to abstract. Kane continued to stare at her with a cheerful expression, seemingly not perceiving what was happening. Just before the black substance completely covered Pommy's body, the video cut to black, followed with cheerful royalty-free music playing over the screen. The text, like and subscribe, appeared in bold letters, resembling the font from the Amazing Digital Circus title. After the video ended, my mind was racing. I could barely process what I just watched, and I desperately wanted answers. I tried bringing it up to Kevin, asking about the sadistic video in his watch history, but when I brought it up to him, he just said that he had stopped watching a quarter of the way through since the rest of the videos of the compilation were ones he have already seen. As for the PomniToonez channel, I have no luck trying to find the original channel. It's as if the owner of the channel completely wiped themselves from the internet. I genuinely am concerned for this guy though, and I hope that he gets the help he needs. And that was directly PomniToonez, written by Mr.Larry 1 and Kuppychan. So I apparently have to do this part again, mainly because, well, I thought that Dorkfishy was the one, and I really am sorry for getting the author of it incorrect. Well, Dorkfishy was the one that actually put the photos, and the two were mainly for writing the story. As for everything, textures, value, and everything else, it was top notch, with a story being unfolded, including the dark reality behind the people who work on the animations, including those who have no choice to work on it for money. Because this is very relatable. I don't see any flaws with it or all, but overall, I am going to rate this story a 8.1 out of 10. You have done a very, very great job, you guys. I love you guys so much and can't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.